Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the ESL India Premiership Masters League. I'm going to be your host for this segment, Angela, and with me, I'm joined with Aditya, who's going to be your analyst as you every day see him, and he's doing a fantastic job in it. How are you doing today?
Thank you. So are you, by the way. I did tell you that off camera as
Yes.
well. I am doing well, and today's an exciting CSGO game again. We see Entity Gaming finally
Yeah.
after a very long time. So I'm excited about that.
And they're going to go up against VAC Banned. But before we get into knowing these players a little bit more and what their story has been in the ESL India Premiership, let's see who these teams are. Entity Gaming, let's see you first. All right, so that is the powerhouse of Entity Gaming. Adi, do you want to say a few words about this team?
Yes, definitely. I think currently, I think they're the best team in India, to be honest. I know they're not sitting top of the table right now. They've only played 2 games, and they have won one of them.
Yeah.
Actually, they won both of them, but then one was reversed because of a few shenanigans by the coach. So I think they're still the best team in the Premiership, and I think it's proven by them already because they are the winners of the finale as well, right? Of the 2017 Premiership. And Amaterasu, I think he's playing absolutely amazingly. I think he is their best player. And when you say Amaterasu is their best player, when you have a player like Marzel on the team, you have Sai on the team.
Yeah.
When you have those 2 players and you still say Amaterasu is their best player, you know that they're a powerhouse of raw skill and aim. And Amaterasu for me is their best player because he has so much more than just the aim. He has the mind that goes behind it. He'll never find himself in an uncomfortable position. Like
True.
he'll always be in a backstab position, something like that. So this team is filled with a lot of good players, and I think they're going to go only up and up right now because they have a brilliant coach with them as well.
Definitely. And going up against this powerhouse today, we have players from VAC Banned. So let's see who these players are. Alright, so that is the team VAC Banned who will be going up against Entity Gaming. Do you have some words to tell me about this team? Because every time I sit down at this desk being a host for the CSGO segment, I always have VAC Banned playing on my screen. So
Yeah, they've actually played a lot of games already. Yeah, like they've played 6 games already, and sorry, they've played 5 games already. This will be their 6th game,
Ouch.
and they also sit at the bottom of the table right
Okay.
now. So it's not going really well for them this Masters League, so to speak. And their win actually was a 16-4 win against Yeti on Inferno, but every other loss of them have been. Like 2 of the most disappointing ones are actually the losses to SRA and War. They lost to SRA 16-13. They also lost to War 16-8, but that they can be forgiven for because it was 5v4 for the most part. And but the other 2 are kind of standard. You expect them to lose because they played against Brutality, and they got destroyed that game. It was 16-6 on Inferno, and they've also played against Portal Esports, the team from Pakistan, who they also lost 16-6-2, but although this time it was on a different map, Mirage. So yeah, like I mean, they weren't really. They have had some tough games, but I still think that they should have won maybe 3 out of those 5 games.
So if they've already played about 8 games, like you mentioned,
5. This will
5
be their
games,
6th.
sorry,
Yeah.
they would have to really win all the upcoming games that they have in store to really make it to the grand finale. That's
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm looking at the standings right now, yeah, and VAC Banned is right down there with the 5 matches played. I don't see them coming back up because the points table gap, right? Invictus is top right now with 12 points. They've played 4 games. They've won all of them. And Brutality is hot on the heels of Invictus as well because they've played 3, won all 3 of them as well. And it's going to be really difficult for a team like VAC Banned now to make up for this deficit because 4 losses out of 5 it's a hard thing to do. Even if unfortunately, I think even if they win their remaining 6 games, the other teams are just going to pull away from them.
Oh, but then, well, miracle sucker, and I hope that a miracle occurs for VAC Banned. And while we talk about that, our veto has been made ready. So let's check out what is exactly banned and picked. Adi, you can take it from here.
Yeah, I mean, Entity's gone with their standard ban, which is cash, and Mirage is their second ban as well. So actually, I was talking to Hellranger. They said that Mirage is going to be their first ban, but I don't know. This time, maybe they've just removed cash because it might be a good map for VAC Banned as well.
True.
They do like playing cash, so I'm a little surprised with that. Of course, but towards the end, the train ban is a little bit surprising as well. But Inferno ban by VAC Banned is kind of par for the course now because they've lost most of their games that they've played on Inferno. So VAC Banned going with Overpass, it's not a bad idea, but I think Entity Gaming is a lot better at the map than them, and that's the main problem. Like, I'm just gonna take a look here quickly. Yeah, VAC Banned have not played Overpass at all. This will be their first Overpass game. And Entity did play Overpass, in fact, against War Gaming, and they won that 16-5, but that isn't saying much. That isn't saying much because Brutality beat War 16-2 on Overpass, and War had absolutely no strats going into that game. Like, they had no idea what this map is. It's like, you know, picking up 5 players in a cafe and saying that, bhai, Overpass khelte aaj. Like, that's about it. And it's a good learning experience. At least it's a good thing that War picked up 3 more rounds against Entity than they did against Brutality. So maybe VAC Banned might have a chance that in that sense. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough ask, honestly. Against Entity Gaming playing Overpass, it's going to be very, very difficult.
All right, and talking about Overpass, I've not been much of a Counter-Strike player, so I love to see how the map actually looks before we head into it. So let's see what this map is all about and what we can see that the players of VAC Banned or maybe Entity Gaming can pull out of the box.
OverPass. A mix of vertical and classical designs makes this map one of the favorites of many professional teams. The team that controls the connector usually comes out with the win.
All right, so that is Overpass for you folks. It looks like a very hectic map to be. Any predictions, Adi? I'm going to go with Entity Gaming.
A spanking by Entity Gaming. A spanking is in order. I think it's going to be somewhere around the same scoreline as they had against War. I think it'll be 16-5, maybe even 16-4. And if Entity starts on the CT side, it's lights out for VAC Banned.
All right, so those are the predictions for you folks. If you guys want to know more about this game, you better head into it with our casters, Mamba and Leo, who are going to be taking us through this. And we will see you all right after the game.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another day, another match in the ESL Premiership 2018. This is the summer season, the Masters division. My name is Ranjit Mamba, Senior Patel, and alongside me I have Sudhin Blair Wangbam, and today we are going to be casting this match between Entity Gaming and Team VAC Banned. And well, the video process has been done and dusted with, the knife round has been done and dusted with, and it is going to be the game going live. So Blair, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. You sound a little depressed, but VAC Banned. Now that's a question mark here, right? I mean, they are the one team. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Masters division, there are quite a number of teams. I think 12 teams in total, right? But then, apart from the top 4 or 5, I would say, teams like Brutality and Entity and Invictus and I'm forgetting one, but I mean, Too Easy. And of course AT Gaming, apart from the 4 or 5 teams, the rest of these teams have actually, it's been pretty closely contested, but they seem to have struggled taking down the likes of, Entity and whatnot. So this is going to be a pretty tough test for them, and it's going to start things off with Falcon playing a perfect bait setup. He's going to get a kill. It's going to be Sai gets taken down. The Falcon, he's got to do some work here. He needs to find a frag real quickly. He's already found 2, looking for the 3rd kill, just trying to escape, but he will be mowed down. That's all a Hellranger. P2000 in hand. He finds one. He knows the 2nd player is going to take the fight as well, and he gets dinged down and free kill. Wow, we'll clutch it out. Spawn, huge work from him, triple kill. I like that bait setup towards Toxic coming out from Entity as well. But in the end, VAC Banned able to swarm over and kind of pull it off. So nice start for them.
It was a pretty nice run actually, and going down to 1v1, that was a pretty decent take. Though I noticed some very minute mistakes, but nonetheless they won the round. So well, it works for them. And getting back to the 2nd round, Jimmy is going to go in for the Mactin, the CTs. Well, Sai is going to go in for the Deagle. I'm not quite sure how much money does he have. He has $850 in the bank, so if he can get a frag or 2 in this round, they could probably go in for the AWP. But the flashbang is going to prime up. He's going to be towards A long, and the deal by makes sense. And look at that, though, Sai getting the headshot. While what is even happening? This has been so quick, and Krish is going to get taken down. And what an anti-eco coming from Entity Gaming. That was so quick that I even missed out on a lot of frags actually.
I actually really like what Entity did there, because the VAC Banned, they played it perfectly, right? At least they went towards long. That's a textbook anti-eco. When you have those AK-47s, when you have those rifles, you want to go towards long where you can kind of take advantage of your rifles against those pistols, and they went for that. You actually had 3 guys pushing out towards long, and Entity had a perfect setup there. They had 2 players held up close. They had a player with the deagle coming up towards long just to cut off, just to be a distraction as well. And a perfectly timed pop flash. The second they heard the footsteps, popped out, and the pistol just going to work at close range. That was a beautiful, beautifully played force buy from Entity. Usually, when you see teams, especially in the Indian or the Asian scene, going for a force buy, there's no method behind the madness. They just try to hold an angle and hope for the best, right? Just try to stack up a sight and do something. But that was a very proactive round, so I don't really want to give too much grief to VAC Banned. They just got completely outplayed that round.
Well, that's true. And talking about this round, they are going to force it up. We have 3 deals to work with, a CZ and a P250, and Spawn has already made his way towards party, and Sai is just going to fall back, realizing it's a little too late in the round to be so aggressive. But nonetheless, Hellranger spotting long jumping at the truck, and Sai is playing it perfectly. He's going to get spotted though, and spraying. Now he's going to get taken down by Spawn, with the P250 being a little too unlucky right there. And I think that was a little aggressive, but nonetheless, Hellranger throwing out the flashbang is going to peek out, trying to find some sort of information. Is going to fall back. He's going to get spotted by Krish, who's going to get a shot onto him, not being able to do a lot of damage though. I think the shot went through the wall, but Amaterasu is going to make his way towards A bomb side, watching from Banks, and the nade is going to go out as well. And I think the Cherry side, they have decided to fall back towards connector now. 36 seconds on the clock to work with. This rotation might just not be the best option, because they only have 30 seconds on the clock to work with. They have to clear out the entire bomb site while making sure they do not get backstabbed, because if the CDs manage to find the information towards A bomb site, this is going to be disastrous for them in the Molotov. A little too early. But yeah, we have the entire context of the round, but nonetheless, Falcon's gonna be waiting down. He's gonna get destroyed by Jimmy, who was blind, and Marzel is gonna get taken down as well. What is happening? No casualties on the terrorist side. It's gonna be Hellranger all alone, saving that AK-47 up, and VAC Banned. How do you even manage to win this round?
Timings were a little off. Those angles held by Entity were a little weird as well. Here's the thing, right? When they knew there was just 20 seconds remaining, and Entity had a very good read that it was going to be a B play, right? They heard all the sound. They heard the players just just running out from water. In an ideal scenario, you want to hold a more passive angle. You want to hold some angles where they need to check. Instead, the Entity players played out in the open. They were looking to take the fights, and that's what happened, right? Especially at that range when those pistols are running and gunning. You have those AK-40s, you have those CZs, you have those P250s and whatnot coming out. That's going to do a lot of damage. And Hell's done a pretty good job, taking out these players. VAC Banned really didn't have to go for the hunt there. Think about it. I think they had all 5 players survive at a point. They had 3 rifles to work with, so there's no real need to go for the hunt. But they've gone for it, and because of that, they will have to rebuy into this particular, have to rebuy a lot of their weapons, which is not ideal considering they had all 5 players stay alive and had picked up 3 rifles. So good job from Hellranger staying alive and picking up those 3 kills. He's got an AK-47, attack pause getting called out. But yeah, good calls from VAC Banned. I mean, they just used their numbers advantage, at the B bomb set, but Edzy played that a little too poorly. Firstly, Sai had no business taking the fight all alone. Like, there was no company for him. He went for the white peak, and the 2 players staring down him. So it's a classic case of Entity Gaming, right? One round they played perfectly, the other round they just throw the textbook out of the window.
And Prashant is not going to be happy with that. He's not at all going to be happy with that. But the way the round was played out, I was kind of surprised at how aggressive Sai was. But I think he was just confident about getting the round. But nonetheless, they're going to force it up. Sai is going to go in for the scout, and Amaterasu for the 5-7 alongside Marzilu is going to only have a CZ75 to work with. So this is going to be a little ambitious of the CD side to try and pull this round off, because they have no... I mean, unlike the last anti-eco they played, right, in the second round, they aren't going towards play. They aren't going to have those set of flashbangs to work with. So this might just be a little too hard, but Marzel is going to boost it up top, and I really like this boost. I really like this one. And Donic Haka is going to get taken down, and a lot of times what happens is that they try and boost towards sandbags, and that's something that you can just expect. But in the meantime, Marzel is still being a little too aggressive. He wants to get that frag. He's hungry for more. He's going to get spotted, trying to find that frag. He's going to take some on damage. He'll get taken down as well, and Amaterasu with the 5-7. Can he find the trade frag? Falcon is going to find the frag on the Jimmy, and the nade is going to do a lot of damage, and Free Kill is going to find the frag onto Falcon, reducing it to a 2v3. Sai will have to do a lot of work on Matarasu. He is in a good spot, but only has a 5-7 to work with. This is going to be extremely difficult for him. And look at the read from the chair set. The C4 is actually falling back, and Sai. But nonetheless, he's actually going to come back, so I think he just went to check the backstab. The flashbang is going to get thrown out. I really like this. And it is going to be Spawn is going to get taken down. He's going to go in for the second one as well, and Sai getting the frag on a free kill, reducing it to a 1v1. Now he knows where Krish is. He's going to fall back. He's going to get spotted. So unlucky. Is he going to go in for the jump shot? He's not going to be able to spot him. Just spamming through the planks is not going to work out. The flashbang is going to blind him. Is not going to be able to connect that shot, and this is going to be very hard for him. He's going to miss out on the shot again. Going with the P250 has to make this work, and Krish in a 1v1 against Sai, the clutch master. Can he pull this off though? A lot of pressure onto him. He's gonna get taken down by a headshot from Krish coming in, and that was a valiant effort from both teams.
Yeah, Sai whiffing a few shots, which knowing Sai you shouldn't have. Like if he'd got a tag down, he could have played it a little bit more differently. He'd have played it a little bit more aggressively with P250. Instead, he didn't get a single tag on. So no matter what happened there, it was the I think it was Chris who clutched it out in the end, so it would have favored him. But valiant effort from Entity, nice hole overall towards the B bomb set. But VAC Banned showing a little bit of, you know, being a little calmer, so to speak, when it was, I think it was 3v2 or something, and kind of slowed things down. But now they're going to be just pushing in, and this could be a great call. Just two players in that B bomb set. It's going to be Mazel and Matarasu, and they're both going to fall within a matter of a few seconds. A full eco, mind you, for Entity. They haven't purchased anything into this round, so whatever kill they get, it's going to be a bonus, and Hellranger will actually find a kill onto Jimmy. Looking for more, but Rane is there to deny him, and that's around pretty much done and dusted. Unless Falcon, he finds free kill, because free kill is very low here, and if Falcon, cheeky little angle here. He has no idea where free kill is, of course. Or maybe he does have an inkling. He does have an inkling, and that USP is going to go to work. Gets a headshot as well. So, a bit of damage being dealt out by Entity Gaming. However, I don't think there's much else they'll be able to get in this round.
Well, I won't say much about this round, because it was a completely eco, and VAC Banned just had a clear path to the B bomb set, because two guys with the USPs to work with, there's not a lot you can do from those positions. They played those aggressive angles as well, you know, making sure that they close in on the range as well, but it doesn't work out. But nonetheless, the scoreline is going to be 4-2-1 in the favor of VAC Banned, and the CTs are going to buy it up. They are going to buy it up. They don't have an op to work with on the terrace. We're still going to see Ronnie Kaka with the Mac 10, so this is a little too ambitious, I'd say, because, you know, you don't want to play with that Mac 10, especially knowing for a fact that they are going to have the buy coming. But one thing to notice is the fact that a lot of CTs, actually only one guy on the CD side, that is Falcon, has head armor to work with, and it's understandable, right? Because the AKs are one type headshots, but Ronnie Kaka with the Mac 10, it'd be really funny if you could find a few frags with the Mac 10, getting a few headshots, just running and gunning.
It could work out as well, right? I mean, I think that's a read that VAC Banned probably have, because they had the Mac 10 saved from the previous round, and they're like, hey, you know what? Instead of upgrading, you know, spending more money, $2,700 to upgrade for an AK, let's just keep it. Most probably, Entity won't have that much money. They'll have to commit to, you know, just the Kevlar buy and just try and catch someone off guard. So I think that this gamble could actually catch Entity Gaming by surprise. A running and gunning Mac 10, like you mentioned, could definitely be a thorn in their side, especially, you know, some place towards connector maybe, or perhaps towards bank if VAC Banned are able to make their way through there. I love what VAC Banned are doing here, by the way, man, but they're taking it slow, and they've actually drawn out a lot of utility. There's just one smoke, a handful of flashbangs, and 2 nades remaining for Entity. But Rane, getting a little too ambitious all by his lonesome, gets taken down. So 5v4. It looks like the A bomb side is going to be seeing some action here.
And well, Hellranger get the first one. Ronnie Kaka is going to get taken down. While Sai just waits it out at the truck. So we do have 3 people playing towards A bomb side, while Hellranger is towards A long. So this could actually work out in the favor of the series, because Hellranger will have the perfect lurk coming in, and it's going to find the second frag as well. While Sai is going to get taken down spawn, and Jimmy finding those openings. Hellranger with the 3K is going to get taken on, finally being traded out, and spawn getting those opening frags, getting that double kill as well to take control of the bomb side. While the bomb is getting planted, it is going to be Krish watching the backstab while Amaterasu comes in. And these guys have been playing together for quite a while. And look at that shot though from Amaterasu. It's going to get a really sweet headshot on Krish. And Krish, being spotted, will get taken out in a really, really awkward spot. There was not much he could have done, unless, you know, he just fell back towards A long. But nonetheless, it's going to get caught off guard. And that is going to be the 5th round coming up for VAC Banned. I don't mind. I apologize for that. That is going to be the 2nd round coming up for Entity Gaming.
Yeah, but just a couple of things that happened which was a little strange for me. Firstly, Marsland's side not getting a single frag. You don't see that often, especially when they were just running into the crosshairs, right? Didn't get a single kill. Hell did all the heavy lifting that round. 3 crucial kills for him. And then the postmans from VAC Banned were a little lackluster, so to speak. Could also be the fact that retake took place very quickly. Amaterasu was already, I think, just started connected the second a bomb got down. So a little unfortunate for them, but they will have a very good buy, in fact. They have just to Chris and Jimmy, the lack of utility, but overall 5 AKs, decent some utility to work with. And in the meantime, for Entity, it's not out of the water. Like if you look at, you mentioned this earlier, right? Like they only had Kevlar to work with. You can see Amaterasu and Hellranger. They still have just Kevlar to work with. They do, however, have the rifle. So this round rather, is gonna define what's going to happen in the next few rounds, of which team's money is going to get broken. If VAC Banned win this is a huge. They can just get like 6 or 7 rounds, and that'll be huge in a tease out of OverPass, especially against a team like Entity Gaming.
No, that's absolutely true. And look at that, Hellranger just being a little sneaky, just jumping around the corner, trying to spot someone, and he is going to get a glimpse of the terrace, just waiting down towards A-Long, and the flashbang is going to primed up as well. Sai peeks out, and he's not going to be able to find the frag. He's still being a little too ambitious, right? The Sai is still going, he's going to find the frag. What is happening? Ranikaka is going to get the revenge frag onto Sai, and reducing it to a 3-4 in the favor of the CTs. It is going to be Ranikaka though going to Noida finally watching his cross, and the smokes are going to come in as well towards A-bombs. I really like that with the Molotov coming in, which is going to force out Hellranger. Now he has to make sure he gets a flag onto Freaker, otherwise he is going to be in the spot, and he's going to find the flag. So Hellranger making sure that one of his sides is clear. He's going to fall back towards A-Long, goes in deep, will probably come in on the backstab. So that's a really good play coming from Hellranger. While in the meantime we have Ranikaka in spawn going towards A-bomb side, and Ranikaka watching A-Long. He's not going to find anyone, and while Hellranger just waits it out towards toilets. Amaterasu he's not going to spot anyone. He's finally going to spot spawn, but he's not going to be able to find the frag while Mars are finishing things up. So I really like what Hellranger did right there, right? He got the frag towards A-Long, made sure that his back was clear, and he just fell back and did not give away his frag, making sure that the terrorist side would have to work a lot more, and try and get the control of the bomb site.
Absolutely. Smartly played from him. He was kind of trapped, right? He had to commit to that fight towards Long. Gets the kill, and immediately ensures that he doesn't get taken down, and and reduce it, and just maintain the deficit that was there between VAC Banned players and his own lineup. So it's an eco round coming out. In the meantime, for VAC Banned, it's going to be P250s all around, just one glocking the mix over there, and Hellranger immediately just spotting them out, falling back, not bothering to take the fight, not pulling off a side, and Sai and Hello, this is cheeky. I like this. Sai hugging the corner. Hellranger, Amaterasu has come up as well. So this is a very good read coming out from the in-game leader of Entity Gaming. Smoke's gonna dissipate any moment, so Hell should be a little worried here, and he will be spotted up. But Sai is there to mow down this one there, and it's gonna be Amaterasu. And Hellranger is gonna pick up the pieces. Jimmy will get taken down. Chris does get a reply on Amaterasu. Hellranger does not need to take this fight, and Marzel and Falcon come to the rescue of their captain. So pretty solid round overall. They lose a couple of players, but they win the round, and I think they're going to be more than happy with that. So the scores are tied right now. It's anyone's game, to be honest, at the moment.
It sure is, and well, in the meantime, Entity could pick up those last 2 rounds, making sure that their economy does not break while it was on the verge for both the teams. But we are going to see an AWP coming in on the CD side, and also on Sai. So now this is gonna be a little more interesting, because we didn't see ops coming in till in the first 8 rounds, and that's alright, because it doesn't usually come up. But Sai just holding back, and he has been playing a little too aggressive. He has been making a few mistakes, but in the meantime, he's just gonna scope it. Well, get the frag on the spawn, who was a little too ambitious right there. And at this point, I think they should just probably fall back, because they do have the man advantage, and they don't really have to aggress out and try and get the second back, but they're still going to go in with the flashes. And Amaterasu is going to find the headshot onto Freaker, while Hellranger gets in sneaky towards Connector inside the smoke. And Ranikaka is going to expect it. I'm not quite sure, but mid is going to get smoked off. A lot of time is going to get taken off the clock due to that smoke inside Connector, and they have absolutely no map control right now. No information towards A-bomb side. Connector has been given up. They only have some information towards fast tunnels and watching the short tunnels as well. So the only part they have control towards is a little bit towards the B-bomb side, and Hellranger is going to peek out. Ranikaka will get taken down. What a shot by Hellranger. And the C4 is going to get spotted as well. So everything is just falling apart for VAC Banned right now, even though they do have an op to work with. The investment they've made in this round is not going to work out for them, while Hellranger gets the second frag as well. This guy has been playing really well in this matchup. And Jimmy in an op. to work with. I don't even know what I'm doing today, Blair.
It's all right. It's all good because I don't think Backbad knows what they're doing either this round. Jimmy's alone, and Hellranger's looking for more. Jimmy, valiant effort from him, but Hellranger 3 runs he got over at connector. Shouldn't have been the case. Even though it was a 3v5, they could have probably done something better about it, right? But Entity, they finally win a round in a much more solid fashion. They keep all 5 players alive. They have all very useful, like we mentioned earlier, right? On a map like Overpass, where it is highly C decided. If you're not able to string rounds together, you're always in danger of getting reset economically. And even here, even if you look right now, 5-4, they've won 4 rounds in a row, right? They've won. But despite that, look at the cash. We have Amaterasu and Falcon at 4,000-ish, which is enough to go for a rifle armor buy with some utility, not full utility. Hellranger's only got with cash to work with. If you look at Marzel and Sai, Sai's below 2k, Marzel's not that great yet, so they really shouldn't be feeling that comfortable. VAC Banned, on the other hand, they've gone for a weird buy. To put it mildly, Freakle's gone kind of all in. He has just $50 remaining in his wallet. That's like rest of them some pistols. The rest of the buy kind of makes sense because it's kind of equalizing out the money, right, for the rest of the team. So I'm not sure if there was a miscomm there that even called for a tactical timeout. So this is a little curious from VAC Banned. Let's see what they do with this though.
Yeah, they have quite a few people towards B-bomb side and on the CD side though. Talking about the setup, it's a pretty default setup. It's a pretty solid setup coming from the CDs, and Amaterasu towards B-bomb. So he's just gonna hold off that angle, and I'm not quite sure what the Terry side is planning to do. It doesn't look like the default because they have no mid control, absolutely no mid control, and we have Marzel who has pushed up towards mid. So Entity Gaming has all the information in the world they need to work with, and I really like this play coming from Entity because they're not investing a lot towards the B-bomb side. They do not want to go in for the control, while Marzel has pushed up so much that he has all the information in the world he needs. And if they find out that it's going to be a B execute, Marzel is going to go in for the lug. He's going to go in for the flank straight away. So this is a very, very good setup coming in from the CD. So nonetheless, we're just going to wait it out while everyone on the cherry side gets huddled up towards B-bombs. And the smoke is going to be coming in as well. 43 seconds on the clock to work with the Amaterasu. Calling it out, and he's going to fall back. He's going to get taken down to 15 points of health. Is this going to work out? I'm not quite sure, but Amaterasu has to be passive. Does not want to give away that lead, but he's on the Falcon. Is going to find the frag. On to crash. The C4 has made its way towards the B-bomb side. He's going to get planted as well. The nade is going to get thrown out, which is going to do quite some damage to Running Kaka. He's going to fall down to Falcon, and Marzel find the frag on a free kill as well. And look at that. He's going to be spawned all alone in a 1v3. Will get taken down though, and the bomb is going to get diffused. That is going to be the 6th round coming off for Entity Gaming. So playing it really, really good. I really like the way these guys played it because Marcel had all the information towards mid. Falcon and Amaterasu were playing it pretty passive towards B-bomb, so because you don't have to aggress out everywhere, right? You have the information you need to work with, and the smoke coming towards short as well. So communication was on point. The game from map control was on point as well. So overall, a pretty good round coming from Entity Gaming.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at Entity, right, they went for the retake setup, which looked a little iffy. But for VAC Banned, that was a great success. I mean, even though I did mention how Chris, I think, had gone for the Galil buy, it was the 4th round loss bonus. And on top of that, they also had the bomb down, so a lot of money to work with. What I'm not a big fan of is the dual up setup on the T side, right? Even if it's overpass, sure, but it's highly risky. And Sai missing a sitter, that's something you don't see that often. He was getting teased there, completely outplayed and out-aimed by free kill. But Amaterasu does, however, get a trade. And Marzel getting the frag onto Plague. Look at the aggression coming from Marzel. This pushes in, gets Rane. And not only does that, well, it does at least get neutralized as Jimmy finds Amaterasu in the meantime. So it's still a 3v3, which will always favor the tease. And that's a perfect nade from Falkland. He knows exactly where Chris is now. Is he going to go for a play here and push him through it short is a question. And this is so well played from Falkland. He's going to find Chris. He knows another play close, but it's going to be Jimmy with the AWP. Walks in straight into his crosshair. And it's all in free kill. AK-47 in hand. He's going to spot a Hellranger, looking for the shot. He actually gets to dig it through the box, but Hellranger's going to win the duel, and Entity win yet another round. And that was a very big investment for VAC Banned, not quite panning out.
Yeah, double up setup on the cherry side of OverPass is a little too, it's a little too ambitious, and I'm not a big fan of it either. But looking at it, it clearly didn't work out. But in the meantime, the CDs are going to retain their up, and they're actually going to buy it up. So missing a sitter, and he hasn't been playing that well. 5 kills, 4 assists, and 10 deaths. It's not something that you usually expect from Psychedelic. But on the Terry side as well, it's only been Spawn and Freak who have been fragging out pretty consistently. And look at that, the nade getting the frag onto Hellranger. It's gonna be Falcon falling back from the B.
I like that. I like what VAC Banned did there. I mean, it's a very iffy buy, and they're like, hey, look, they've been aggressing out every single time, so let's try kind of like, you know, just toss in a bunch of nades just to give that shot. They had that information, so great play coming out from VAC Banned. But Marzel and Falcon.
That's true, and Marzel is going to find the second one as well. It is going to be the Terry side who will have to do a lot of work to try and get some information to the smoke. Both smokes not giving any sort of information to the CDs or the teaser as well, but the Molotov is going to get thrown. Freak will probably have to come on at a point of time. He's going to find the first one. Marzel going to get the second one as well. Psychedelic is going to get taken down, reducing it to a 1-1. Amaterasu has to do all the work for the CDs, and he is going to find the headshot on the Freakle. Not quite sure what was going through Freakle's mind, but well, the rotation had to come in at some point or the other, and he probably expected it to be a backstab because there were two guys waiting towards the CD side, towards the CD base as well, and well, he's gonna get caught off guard while trying to go in towards the B bomb side, so not quite working out for VAC Banned. And even though it wasn't the best of the buys, it's still a pretty decent with the amount of economic damage that they've done to the CDs, but it's not going to make it in. They have a lot of money to work with, and it is the 13th round, so even if they end up losing this round, I think they have more than enough cash to work with, except for Marzel. He's probably going to get a gun drop from Amaterasu, but in the meantime, Sai is going to miss out on the shot, trying to go in for that early aggressive shot. It's a pretty hard shot to hit as well, but Falcon aggressing out alongside Marzel. You know, shot has been smoked off and, you know, modded off as well before. But Amaterasu just watching the backs and making sure that they do not get taken down from the push coming from B long. But Freakle has connectors control. Now this is something that I'm happy with, you know, seeing VAC Banned, because they have some map control to work with, contrary to the way they have been playing in the past few rounds. They have at least went out for the map control. They have connectors control. They have mid control as well, so to speak, and they have a little information towards B long. Just the fact that they don't have information to a shot, but in the meantime, a lot of frags are going to get exchanged. It is going to be Crash finding the refrag, and look at the amount of people that are going down on the CD side. The Molotov is going to get thrown out as well. It is going to be Jimmy smoking off heavens, and it's going to be on Sai and Hellranger to bring the fight back now.
That was a really nice run coming from VAC Banned there. Slowly creeping out towards B, and the B hole, that's a problem with the B hole, right? When you're holding that aggressively, you need to win those deals. You need to win those deals, or else if you get taken down, the T's are going to have complete side control, and there's not going to be enough time for the rotation to take place, and it will have to be a retake. Now, a 2v2 retake would have been like, alright, you know, you can kind of go for this, but 1v2, I'm not sure what Jimmy was thinking there. Hellranger's gonna drop in. He gets to kill Sai, follows up, and now he knows where the last player is as well. And he's getting tagged down. He taps the bomb once, and Chris is gonna come running into the flames side. Nothing is going his way. Goes for the fast scope, but he gets taken out. I don't think they had enough time anyway. But VAC Banned, they do manage to win the round after quite a while.
And even though this looks a little shaky for VAC Banned, but I think if they can get one more round, this would be a pretty decent half. You know, especially playing on the Terry side of OverPass and against a team like Entity Gaming. So 6 rounds should be pretty good to work with on OverPass. In the meantime, Entity Gaming is going to call out a tactical timeout. So I'm not quite sure. They probably want to discuss what happened in the last round, and I think I am liking this because of the fact that, you know, even if they lose a round they should not have lost, they just take a timeout, make sure that they do not repeat the same mistake in the matchup. This could work two ways, right? You could if you have players with good mental fortitude, they are going to fix their mistakes, and won't be a lot of tension, won't be a lot of heat to it. But you know, for players who are just starting up, playing under a lot of pressure, this might work the opposite way, because, you know, you want to concentrate on the game as well at the same time. But I think these guys have played enough Counter-Strike, and it's actually working out for them as well. So I like what Entity did right there, making sure that they do not repeat the same mistake throughout the matchup, and rectified what happened in the last round. So I like the way they are talking things through, especially with players like Sai and Marzel in the team. Even though Marzel, no, see, Marzel is a different story. You know, if he's playing with good players, he is going to be a little more calm to play with, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Marzel is one of the ballsier players in the scene. He has this no respect attitude, which really helps him out. So no matter who he's facing off against, right, no matter like what team it is, he's got his mentality that, you know, they're pretty crap, we're still gonna win, which can border on overconfidence at times, and that's what some people say, like he's too overconfident, he's too cocky, but I like that attitude. I think that really works, and I think that's something that certain players could learn from. Like Sai, for example, I think he struggles with confidence sometimes. It was not this case a while back, mind you. It's only something which I've seen recently. Sai seems to be struggling, him missing some shots. He used to be the best player in the world, not the world, but in the country at least at one point. So Freakle finding Sai, getting caught again with his pants down. That makes things very awkward indeed for Entity Gaming. So it's now a 2v4. Helmet is in a great spot, but Spawn is still going to jump into his crosshair, and he gets the kill. And that's the call for the save. And here's the problem. Here's the nightmare scenario for Entity. VAC Banned are going to be in 6 rounds, and it's going to be the final round of the first half. And they're not going to have any money to work with. So Falcon's going to pick up the AWP, and Jimmy should hear this. So I'm not too sure what is Jimmy doing. He should have heard that. He should have heard it coming from a mile away. But he will get taken on Falcon. If he saves his off, it could be useful. But right outside, he's being pretty quiet, I'd say. Let's try to be a little polite. He's been a little quiet with the big green gun. Hasn't been as instrumental as he needs to be, especially in a map like Overpass.
Well, that's true. That is very true. But yeah, the last round of the first half to work. Not a lot of cash as well on the CDs. Now this is going to be interesting because if VAC Banned manage to get 7 rounds of Entity on the Tears side of Overpass, this is going to be huge, right? Because it just gives you so much more confidence to work with, and it gives you a lot more room as well. Because two things, you can afford a few mistakes against a team like Entity if you have such a huge gap in terms of round to work with. And the amount of nades that have come into us, where I really like this. And you didn't mention this before when this happened, and Sai is going to get blinded. And Amaterasu in the meantime is going to come around the corner. Will find the frag onto Freakle with the 5-7, and Krish is on the backside. He's going to get taken down. No, he's going to get spotted. He's still going to find the frag onto Hill Ranger. The Molotov is going to get primed up, and Psychedelic is just going to hold that cross. Now Krish will have to be a little cheeky, but he's going to get taken on. Sai is going to hit that shot. It is going to Spawn and Jimmy in a 2v3. Can they pull this off though? Marzel missing out a lot of shots. It's quite uncharacteristic, but nonetheless, he's going to throw out the nade, and he's going to find to work with. He has to fall back. Yeah, he's still going to find the frag onto him. Not quite sure what just happened.
Yeah, I mean, missed the easy frag and gets the hard one. That's just CS things. Aside, finally coming alive. Some 3 pretty standard shots, but he gets the kills, and that's more than important. I mean, more than enough, right? That he really didn't have a great buy. It was like, I think 1 M4 and 3 pistols, and that op, which is safe from the previous round. So for Entity Gaming, I think they won't be happy with the scoreline. They should have been a much more stronger scoreline in favor of Hellranger and his men. To be honest, I think some of those rounds were very iffy. Some of the aggression coming out, like a couple of rounds. The anti-eco, for example, was a round they really shouldn't have lost. So they won't really be happy with the scoreline, but for VAC Banned, 6 rounds on the T side, that is something to work with. If they can take this pistol round and then survive the following anti-eco rounds, they have a pretty good chance of taking this pretty close. Considering all of this is considering the fact that, let's be honest, not many people are expecting VAC Banned to pull off the upset over here, right?
Yeah, I didn't even expect them to pull 6 rounds off on the Cherry side, even though we know that there are a few of the, even though they're lesser known compared to all the other teams in the Masters division, but they are still better in their own league, right? If we talk about VAC Banned, then we have a few other teams as well that we've seen play. I think it was yesterday. Yesterday's match was a pretty one-sided matchup as well. I just forgot the name of the team, but in that comparison, VAC Banned is still a little better than the rest of the teams. So this is going to be interesting to see. I didn't really expect them to pull 6 rounds off on the Cherry side, but well, CTs, they have to make this work. We have Smoke and a flashbang to work with onto Falcon, and I like what they're doing. They're going towards A bombs. That Sai is the one entry frag inside, and look at that. This could be huge. And the CDs are going to be they're going to get sandwiched, and Mathras is going to find the frag onto Jim, and Ranekaka is going to get taken on as well. What are the chances that you'll find yourself in this situation, Ranekaka? Being a little unlucky right there, being sandwiched and being molested right there, but Spawn is just going to wait it out and has the USPS to work with. He's going to wait it out at the sandbags. And in a 3v5 situation, there's not a lot you can do as CDs, right? Because even though it's the same number of players on both the sides, it's still going to favor the Cherry side, and especially on pistol round, being in a 3v5 against Glocks, it's not going to work out because they'll just swarm in on the bomb side, and Psychedelic is still a little too hungry for the frags. Could probably get taken down. It's going to be a little lucky. Spawn is going to whiff a few shots, and hard shots to it as well. Krish, though, in the meantime, he's going to try and find a few frags, but he's going to get taken down by Falcon, and Spawn is going to go down as well. It is going to leave Freakle all alone in a 1v5. Can you pull this off? a USPS and a dream to get this round for his team, but he's going to get destroyed by Marzel. Again, missing a few sitters, but nonetheless, he's going to find the final frag onto him, and that is going to be the first round coming up for Entity Gaming in the second half.
Yeah, pretty. I really like that flank, that pincer movement towards connector, right? I don't think they're expecting to fight both the players. They were probably expecting to find the VAC Banned players playing towards stairwell, but great work from them. And especially Amaterasu, just waiting underneath the ladder. He didn't take the fight with the USP, just waiting for his teammates to wrap around. So Entity Gaming, in the end, they really didn't even have to really use their utility that much. They were winning these deals. Nice round overall. Jimmy's gone for a full eco. I think he's going to be going for an op buy the first opportunity he gets, while the rest of them have gone for the infamous CZs and armors. Free kill by the P250. They have a couple of flashbangs to work with, but overall this setup, they had 4 players towards B initially, and now we would have free kill falling back alongside Jimmy towards the A bomb side. So usually, right, when you have these sort of force buy, I like to see teams do more of what Entity did on their force buy in the second round, where they went for this aggressive peek towards Fountain with that one pop flash and someone making it work. We'd love to see that. Instead of playing defaultish, because look at the positioning over here from Chris and Freakle. There's not much trade potential. You know, you're going to be facing off against AKs and SMGs, and most of the times for Entity, they usually work in pairs, right? It's going to be 2 players staring down at you. So even if you get a kill, it's going to be very rough, and then Marzel's going to spot him out, but Chris does get the kill. Marzel not expecting that angle from Chris, which was, I won't lie, it was a very, very cheeky and aggressive angle as well. So Falcon will swap his SMG out for the rifle off Marzel. And now Sai's trying to get the trade here. Amaterasu will find a trade, and it's going to be Spawn, who's going to be found out by Chris again. Chris is doing huge work with the CZ. 2 kills for him, and perhaps more to come.
And this was very well played by Chris as well, because both the frags were pretty cheeky, really good angles. The first one as well, I haven't really seen that angle, you know, in play a lot. But the second one, I'm not expecting, but I mean, with the amount of things that have been happening in the round, you can't really expect that. And in the meantime, Ronnie Kaka is going to find the frag onto Falcon. Is going to leave Hellranger all alone, and Ronnie Kaka making sure the fallback does not get traded out. And I like this. I like the discipline coming in from VAC Banned, and 5 seconds on the clock to work with. Hellranger is going to get spotted. Jim is not going to push him, and he's going to push him finally once the clock runs out. He's going to get taken down the hand. He is going to get taken down. Ronnie Kaka is going to go down as well, and Hellranger making sure he does not get taken down is going to save that AK-47 up. Getting 2 frags is going to be able to buy up a Molotov and a flashbang as well, and this was a pretty brilliant round coming in from Krish, because, you know, I think that was the only reason why they actually managed to win this round up, getting those 2 early frags, Sai and Marzel being taken down as well. So those cheeky angles actually working out for them. Yeah,
and Entity needed to probably go about the drawing board, and I mean, they're one team who I'm not feeling so forgiving when it comes to losing their these anti-ecos, right? Because let's be honest, you're playing in Asia, you're playing in India and Asia, where teams just go for these French-esque buys, so to speak, and you know, they go for these force buys all the time. And if you're not able to hold your own against a force buy, where VAC Banned weren't trying anything crazy, right? They were just holding angles and just walking in one by one, giving them those kills, not using your utility, which you had quite a bit of, by the way, to clear it out. And in the end, Hellranger was left in a 1v4. Sure, he got 2 exit kills, or you know, when they were trying to hunt him down, but losing a round like that without barely doing any damage, like 2 people falling to Chris without him getting taken down, without him getting traded, for example, right? This should not be happening. They've gone for the force buy yet again, because there's going to be a double eco anyway. So Deagle coming out in the hands of Mitarasu is going to be solo clearing out towards connector. And for VAC Banned, they're playing this very passively. They're playing it all the way back. Now, this could potentially work in another map where you want to play way at the back, hold the sites, you know, from the back lines. But I'm not a big fan of the CTs playing from inside the A bomb site, especially in OverPass, because what happens is, if a couple of smokes are deployed, and bear in mind, Entity do have a smoke, an incendiary, and a flashbang, and they start swarming the site, these CZs can really go to work, and you're going to have a rough time trying to hold it up, even if you have the rifles, even if you have 3 players in all the chaos. How many times have you seen this, right? I'm talking about the best teams in the world. Even they will struggle against these pistols at close range, and it's going to be Spawn who spots outside. Nade sails in. He spots out another player as well, and I think the hit is being telegraphed. So you can see the rotation coming in, and Spawn is completely blinded, and that's what happens when you play from inside the side. Freakill's still alive, however, he's got the M4 out, and Sai won't get the bomb down in time. Huge play coming out from Freakill. Is looking for more. Amaterasu trying to hunt him down, and Freakill, can he do more? He has one more bullet remaining, and he will go for the knife. Tarasu with a deagle though replies back, 2 slaps in the face. Freakill's gonna fall, Rani's gonna fall. It's all on Jimmy. 1v1 though, as he finds Hellranger. He knows exactly where Tarasu is. Amaterasu's got to go for the play. He needs to land a headshot, but Jimmy is gonna take him down. What a hero play from Freakill, because for a moment there, that round seemed lost for VAC Banned.
So many things happening this round. So many things. And Freakill with that huge play, and Amaterasu there's 2 amazing deagle headshots as well. So it was a pretty brilliant round to watch for the spectators, from the spectators' point of view, because so many things happened. But in the meantime, you know, it's commendable the way VAC Banned played, and even though they did make a few mistakes, you did mention that on a map like OverPass, you might want to be, you know, a little aggressive, if not a little aggressive. Just don't play those angles, because you know it's a one-and-done situation, at least against a team like Entity, because I think it was Ronnie Kaka or Krish was playing that truck angle, but in the meantime, they are going to swarm into it. Entity's going to swarm into it. He walks and Marcel will find the first frag. Jimmy is going to get taken out. Falking in the second, and Sai in the third one as well. Freakill again. Getting the frag on the side. Is going to be on the reload. It's going to get pushed out though. It is going to be waiting down. Amaterasu is going to go down as well. Oh, look at that. Freakill again with the 3K and saving the day for the CD side, but the round is not over yet. It's going to be Marcel in a 1v2, and this man is more than capable of pulling this back up, so he has to make sure that he gets this round. It is going to be a pretty crucial round as well for both the teams, and Marcel is going to be sneaking in towards the B-bomb side. Has to make sure that Heavens is clear, has a C4 as well to work with, and Freakill watching the first round. Is the crossfire going to work out? Yes, it is. It is going to be Freakill who's going to find the frag onto Marcel, while Marcel was trying to clear his back out, and again, you know, Freakill getting a 4K. I think it was a 4K in the last round.
Yep.
It was a pretty brilliant round coming from
I mean, how many times is going to bail them out, right? And again, Entity Gaming, I like the fact that he went for that force buy, and I think they're going to go for yet another force buy. Timeout getting called out. This is a final timeout. They went for the force buy because only one player survived for VAC Banned, right? So they were like, hey, if we can pull this one off, we can break their money and we can just start stringing some rounds together. But VAC Banned, Freakill, I mean, I don't know if VAC Banned are a paid organization. I don't think they are, but if they are, we're getting a raise. He saved them 2 rounds in a row, and that too, it was looking very dire indeed, right? So, attack timeout will be done with. Amaterasu has bought in a lot of utility, by the way, and has even gone for the armor buy, pistol upgraded, while the rest of his team has just gone for just a pistol. So this is a little curious. I think there was a miscomm there where he just went for the force buy while Hell hadn't called for it, but he's gone for the full commit. He's got utility. He's probably going to try and sell something with Marsden, while the rest of the team are gathered up rather, right outside of Monster. However, 3 players there. Are they going to rotate is a question.
But well, the swag 7 on Ronnie Kaka, he's going to be pretty aggressive, and Jimmy is smoking A long off. Is going to fall back. So I like the decision where they have decided to fall back. Now this is where Sai did not decide to fall back. You know, they got that early control. They got the information as well. They haven't really aggressed out towards B bomb side, but they did decide to fall back because, you know, it could potentially be an eco, but yeah, there's gonna be Freakill, you know, waiting it out towards B long, and the swag 7 waiting out towards short. Now Ronnie Kaka, if he gets swarmed, it might be a little difficult for him, especially after the nerve that came in for the swag 7. You know, it's not technically full auto now anymore, but yeah, we do have an op to work with as well, so he's gonna fall back. Now this is a little tough angle, I'd say, because that's a pretty long distance, and in the meantime, Freakill is gonna find the first one. He's gonna get traded out by Falcon, and look at that. Kaka is gonna get the headshot onto Mars. He can get the second one as well. He's just gonna wait it outside. Is going to be holding that angle, and Ronnie Kaka is not going to aggress out. He realizes the importance of just waiting it out inside, connecting a few shots. Can he find the third one as well? Nope, it is not going to happen, and that is going to be the equalizer coming up for Team VAC Banned.
Yeah, I'm not a big. Might sound like too much of a critic, but I'm not a big fan of Ronnie Kaka's the angle he was holding towards water, because yes, he had the Max 7 there, but there was no one, there was no CTs playing towards connector. So if the connector door opened up and like 2 people came charging out, that Max 7 would have been pretty much useless, especially because it's not going to be that close range, right? It's going to be mid range, and he would need a lot of RNG going his way for him to land a shot. So I think I got a little fortunate there that they all came funneling in through Monster, but for NTT Gaming, they didn't get the bomb down. They wanted at least to get the bomb down there, so that's kind of a failure, considering that Matarasu invested so much as well. So he's just going to be sticking with the UMP. And now VAC Banned, they've tied things up. They have won 4 rounds in a row here, including that eco, the force buy on the CD side. It's going to be Falcon charging in. Great flashbang, but they're not going to be pushing in. Falcon does find 1 kill. The double peek comes out. Spawn is just mowing people down. But Amaterasu and Marvel, they reply back. Snappy reply. There's still free kill to deal with. And this guy has been a thorn in the backside for NTT Gaming. So what can he do this time around? The question. Backups nearby as well, but Chris is falling back. I like this from Entity. Just making them second guess themselves. That's free kill. He's doing the smart things, falling back, doesn't want to get caught out in the open alone with 3 or 4 players just walking into him. Instead, it looks like he's going to be going back towards A, so they're going to be doubling up towards the side. Just try and commit to something, but that smoke is going to be a tell in the free kill. Is he feeling it? Is the question, or are they just going to fall back and hold on to their guns, because the money's not that great. Spawn and Jimmy can buy. Rani will have to be dropped by either Chris or by free kill. But the problem here in the save is Hellranger, who will be taken up by Chris. He was ready for that. So 2v3, bomb still not down, and Freakill might be feeling a little adventurous here. Never mind, Sai's gonna slap him down.
Well, Sai is gonna find the headshot, and one thing I liked about the series is that they still had a few flashes to work with. And had I been in the place of VAC Banned, I would have really wanted to go in for the retake, especially after Krish found the frag onto Hellranger. But it was unfortunate that Sai got the frag onto Freakill. I think it was Freakill. So, well, they don't really go for the retake. They couldn't in the end. But had he not gotten taken down, I think I would have really wanted them to go for the retake, because they did have the flashes to work with. And that is one of the most important parts in a retake like this. So the utility being saved up, but Krish is going to save that up for the CDs, and that is going to be the 11th round coming up as well. So Entity Gaming taking things slow, and Sai has finally been stepping up. He has finally started whiffing the shots that he was whiffing in the first half. But the cash, talking about the cash, the CD still have a decent amount of cash to work with, and the Terry said it's not that great. It could actually, break if they end up losing this one, or maybe the next one as well, because they're probably going for the force buy in the next one if they end up losing this one, but the CDs as well. So the cash on both sides, it's pretty shaky. And this again, as you mentioned in the first half, this could be the round which would define the upcoming rounds coming in for both the teams.
Absolutely. This round is going to be crucial. I completely agree with you on this, and it's going to be a fast peek from Spawn. And it's going to peek out again. He finds another one, and he's done his job. This is a big investment from VAC Banned. Amaterasu does reply back. Free kill is once again there. What a god. As Spawn is just going off, looking for more. Gets the quad kill. And Entity Gaming get completely, utterly decimated at Monster. They come funneling into their own demise. And like you mentioned, that was a crucial round. They just got 1 kill. Both the ops will be held on by VAC Banned. They just have to rebuy into the rifle. Just 1 rifle has to be bought up for VAC Banned, so they can start building a little bit more economy here late in the game. And for Entity Gaming, the money is completely, utterly wrecked. Amaterasu is the only player with anything to work with, so he's bought himself some Kevlar, some armor. He's also dropped, I think, a couple of pistols for his teammates, but that's about it. Entity Gaming, they are struggling a bit here.
They sure are, and it is going to be Marcel Sai along with Falcon. We're going to be going towards A-Long. I just dropped something. But in the meantime, the flashbang being on point. It's going to blind 2 players right there. And Ronnie Kaka needs to fall back right now. He's going to find the flag though. Fresh backing him up as well. It is going to Ronnie Kaka with the 3 on that eco on Amaterasu all alone. Is going to be coming up with this season. If I do work with, they did force up. And they're going to get taken down, absolutely taken down towards A-Long and towards A-Bomb side. So now this is again going to be a crucial round coming in for Entity Game, even though they would have the losing bonus if they end up losing this, but they do not want to do that. They want to pick that round up, and the amount of cash that the series have is pretty respectable. Even if they end up losing this one, they'll still be able to buy it up in the next one and force it up in the rounds coming after. So the cash being in the fear of the CD side, and we have a Mac 10 on the Falcon. Now this is going to be interesting because I'm not quite sure what Falcon is planning to do with that Mac 10, but in the meantime, Freakill is just gonna drop down. The flashbang is gonna get thrown on. So it's gonna be a double B long peak coming in. Spawn smoking short off, does not want anyone to push in. Kill just waiting it out. I think it's gonna be a little aggressive right there. Falcon prime the flashbang for a long, and it is gonna be Gracious. Gonna make it. Still how to connect the shot onto Marzel. Just being partially blinded because the flashbang was too far out, too far away, and this is gonna be unfortunate for Entity Gaming. But Ronnie Kaka just waiting it out towards a long, towards the connector, and it's not even exactly connected. It's squared. It's squared is what we like to call it.
The
just
square.
waiting it out. Yeah. it's kind of
you know,
name,
I'd like to see a better name coming out for this spot. Like, I don't know, like
benches. I don't know.
We already have benches, right? Like, I'm just gonna take a look
Graffiti.
around. There is a graffiti, but it's already
Yeah,
a
towards the
graffiti.
B bombs. Yeah.
Yeah, there's already something over to B bombs. But we'll talk about that later. In the meantime, though, we do have the opening kill, like I mentioned earlier, going the way of VAC Banned, as Entity are present. They're pretty much telegraphing that they want to be entering into this B bomb set. But again, there are 3 players waiting. Spawn from above, trying to live up to that second part of his moniker. He is trying to be like a god, raining death and hellfire from above. I like what Jimmy has done there. They've doubled up towards Monster, Jimmy, and Free Kill, and the smokes are dissipating. They have 2 flashbangs remaining and Sion, 1 HP Entity Gaming. I think they're just going to call for the save here. 26 seconds. Are they going to rotate towards A? No, they're not. It's going to be a call for the save. They know there's not much they can do. 3 flashbangs, and Sion 1 HP, and VAC Banned 1 more round closer to pulling off. In my opinion, I think it's going to be the upset of the tournament, of the league so far.
This would blow everyone away, because VAC Banned, we do expect a lot from these guys, and we've seen these guys play as well, and we generally do say that these guys are one of the better teams in the Masters division. You know, if you take out teams like Entity Gaming, Too Easy, and I think Portal Esports as well, and this I don't know. I mean, the viewers would be pretty surprised as well, but talking about the amount of cash that the Cherry side has is not that great. They will have to force it up if they want to try and get this one, because they do have 3 AKs to work with already. I'm not quite sure what they are going to be thinking right now. I'll probably call it a tactical timeout at this point, but
They're out of tactical timeouts.
oh, never mind. They are out of tactical timeout, so they are going to force it up. And I really like what the Cherry side did, right? Because they want to have those resources to work with. All the 3 AKs don't have any sort of resource except for Maturasu, and the other 2 guys just going for the CCN 5s and buying up the resources. I really like what Entity did. And Croatia is going to get boosted up top again. So this could be the round where VAC Banned completely dominate the Cherry side, and they have a lot of money to work with. But the losing bonus again is going to be about $29 to work with. Oh, look at this, is so huge. Marcel has not been spotted. I really like this, and he is going to connect the headshot. This was so cheeky from Marcel, so cheeky. I really like this. But Ronnie Kaka is going to smoke it off, and he can throw a flashbang as well. He's going to get caught off guard while he was going to try and cross eye. Is going to find the frag onto him, and Krish one back to the bomb side on 36 points of L to work with. This is going to be a little tougher. It's going to be a tough ask to try and defend that bomb set, but I think the rotation has come in as well towards A bomb. So one more guy coming up. It is going to be Spawn. Wait, I am a little confused. We already have an AWP towards A bomb set. Why would Spawn want to come in again? So I'm not quite sure what the CDs are actually thinking right now.
Yeah, they would rather have the rifle, right? But the play is coming in towards A. It's got to be fast and furious. It's a blitzkrieg from Entity Gaming, and Chris does get the kill, but there was no escape for him post that. And the bomb does get picked up. A little surprised that the C4 actually ran in, and Hellranger finds a kill onto Jimmy. And all of a sudden, this buy actually might work out. It was a Hail Mary buy, but a nice little adjustment from Entity. They played that very smartly. They knew there was a player boosted up on that on the box towards long, the operative, which was Chris, and they knew there was a player, I think it was Ronnie Kaka, who likes playing towards square, right? So they actually spins at that area. Marsdale with a great flashbang to get towards rock. So they had a read on that, and that's a problem. That's the thing why whenever you talk about CD side setups, why you want to mix things up, why you don't want to stick with the same thing, is because when you play against a half decent team, they're going to figure out after a couple of rounds that, okay, this is your tendency, this is the way you want to play these positions on this map, and they're going to try and counter that, and they will, in all probability, catch you with the pants down if you don't switch it up and, you know, keep them guessing, right? And that's something that VAC Banned learned the hard way. And now Entity Gaming, if they'd lost that round, that could have been VAC Banned pretty much closing out the game. But now 12-13, we really do have a game in our hands, Mamba.
This is I think this has been one of my favorite matches to watch, because first thing, it could potentially be an upset, and the way both the teams have been playing, you know, we've seen a few brilliant rounds from both the teams, and I think personally, from all the matches that I've casted for the Masters League this year, this has been one of my favorite matches, because secondly, it's not been Inferno. We've seen a lot of Inferno matches coming up, and VAC Banned have been playing pretty decently, and we've seen Entity Gaming and, you know, showing us a few new tricks. Krish, showing us a few cheeky angles, and the tactical timeout VAC Banned would be sweating bullets right now, because this is something that is going to give them a lot more pressure to handle, because again, let's just be honest, it's Entity Gaming, and being in the lead and being so close as well at the same time, it will add on to the pressure, because you'd be internally screaming, alright boys, we have this, and they have to calm themselves, because they do not want to make a mistake while they're being so happy about it. But we have a double up setup to work with, and the Cherry side, they have tried to go in a little aggressive towards mid, and they have gotten control as well towards the fountain area. So Jimmy falling back, he's going to smoke it off as well, and I'm not quite sure. Well, the boost is not going to come up. They might expect the boost if they see the smoke coming in, but Krish just only that passive angle towards A long. He's not getting boosted up top. Now this is going to be interesting with Krish. Pretty much every single round has been boosted up top. No one has control of I think, yeah, no one has control of the washroom area, and Marcel is going to find the frag on his Spawn with the op, and Spawn is going to go down a little too aggressive. And I like this angle from Freakill again, the amount of cheeky angles that these guys have come up with. I think they've just spent too much time playing overpass. But yeah, a lot of pugging does that, but Jimmy is just waiting down.
It's never a bad thing, playing a map that often, which is especially a map like Over. I really like this map. I love to cast it. I love to play it. Love to watch it as well. I think it's one of the more tactical maps, a map with a lot of depth into it, and there's a lot you can do on it basically. But in the meantime, though, Amaterasu making his presence felt towards the A bomb side, and this angle again, Freakill and Rane. Rane is going to be holding towards second sewer or water as you call it. Here to come charging, and Rane hasn't been spotted out yet. This is brilliant stuff. But now they know exactly where Rane is. It's a 3v3. And this is a problem. Rane, he's going to try coming in from Monster, but this guy's going to be ready and waiting. It is going to be Sai, and he should spot him out. Doesn't take the shot, though. Got a foot. Great headshot coming out from Sai. Now it's all on Chris and Jimmy. They managed to do it in the past. Can do it again.
Well, and it is going to be Krish who's going to be boosted up top, trying to get one frag. He's going to spot the foot. Will not be able to find the vest. So unlucky for him. And he's going to spot the ball. He's going to miss out on the shot. So unlucky, and they have decided to fall back. Now, the way the CDs played this round, right? It just was evident that they were playing under a lot of pressure. They were, trying to make sure that they do not make any mistakes. They were concentrating too hard, and yeah, the pressure just showing up in the way they played, the positioning, the way they were peeking as well. But even in that Hellranger, I think Spot, he did hear him on, and Krish might just get backstabbed. Hellranger won't really have enough time to go on the backstab, and the score has been tied out now. The CDs, they still do have the cash to work with. The Terry side still having a decent amount of cash. Now this, I think we have a match set up. It's a pretty brilliant match because of the fact that both the teams do have the cash to work with. Even though if either of these teams manage to win a round or 2 rounds as well, we might still see an overtime coming up. All right. Well, the double op setup on the CDs. It is going to be Spawn and Krish with the op to work with Hellranger. Throwing in the Molotov, Jimmy falling back, throwing in the Molotov as well towards mid. This is going to be interesting to see how it actually pans out, but the Cherry side, they have, I think it's a default coming. They are expecting something cheeky from the CTs, and the default coming to play. 2 guys towards B bomb side, 2 guys towards A bomb side, taking mid control and methodically taking A long control as well, and Hellranger's waiting it out towards connectors. So Krish holding the angle towards A along with the op to work with. So it's both the teams just going in for default, and you can see the line on the minimap. It's literally 2 lines holding angles off. It was before a few seconds, and now they've decided to swarm in towards B bombs and making sure that the CDs do not come in aggressive, and if they do, punish them for it. And it looks like it's a setup for a B execute, and Freakill has been boosted up top at an angle that I really like. And the smokes have started to get primed, so this is going to be interesting if the CDs can hold this off. And they do have a decent amount of resources to work with. Only 1 Molotov, but the counter flashes could do the job, and Spawn will have to make sure that it does not get mollied out, and that is exactly what's going to happen. He has to fall back, has to make the stall back. He's going to fall back, probably going to caught off guard. He's going to find the first one, gets the second one as well. Can he nail the third? He's going to miss out on the shot, has to fall back, will get taken down by Marshall, but the trade frag coming from Freakill. Can he pull this off from Amaterasu and Hellranger? Amaterasu getting the headshot on Freakill. In a 2v3, this is going to be a lot of work to do for the Cherry side, and Amaterasu is going to get taken out. I'm not quite sure if he got timed out, but the CTs showing their magic and holding that push, holding that execute, and this was a pretty good round from Spawn again, getting that opening frag, getting that follow-up shot as well, doing a lot of work and a wonderful job at the pillar towards the B bomb side. So that was a pretty good round coming from both the teams, and VAC Banned are inching closer towards a victory now.
That was huge. That was huge from Spawn. Great shots. He was very proactive there. Yeah, he got taken out in the end, but by that time, the fact that he got his 2 kills and was trying to seed some chaos and all that, in all the confusion, really working out. Because by the time there was a 2v3, you realized there were already 2 CDs waiting to just pounce on the last remaining players of Entity when they were waiting at short. So huge play coming out from Spawn. Flashbang again. Marzel trying his what he does best towards long, and Chris this time around won't stick around. He will take the shot, he misses it, and he will fall all the way back. But VAC Banned, this is a thing, this is the round, this is the opportunity for them to close it out, because if you look at the money for Entity, they really have nothing to work with if they lose this round. They're going to be on pistols and armor, maybe a UMP, perhaps that's the best case scenario for them, and VAC Banned's going to be in map point. So this round is crucial. However, Rani will fall early, and that's not a good sign.
And yeah, again, you know, just one of those things, nerves getting the better of you. And it is going to be an A hit coming in from the Cherry side. Entity Gaming, they have to make this work. They absolutely have to make this work. But Krish is going to be blinded. So is Jimmy. And this is going to be a hard side to hold, because everything has been smoked out. This is in the quite literal sense a ball of smoke they're trying to hold inside. Just missing by an inch. Trying to spray down through the smoke, and this was a little ballsy coming from the CD. Jimmy is going to get taken down. Should not have done that, because, you know, the smoke was going to fade away in about 4 or 5 seconds, and Freaker is going to find the frag. Sai is going to get taken down, and they are going to go in for the retake. Now, they do have the amount of resources they need. The C4 is going to get smoked off, and Marcel is going to find the frag on a Krish, while Spawn gets a refrag coming in. Freaker is going to push up, he's going to find the frag. Amaterasu is going to get taken down. He has to make this work. The Molotov is going to go in as well, but he's going to get taken down. So unfortunate. So unfortunate for VAC Banned. He could have mauled it off a little earlier, but being in that situation, it's going to be a tough task to do, because in a 1v3, it's too much to ask for, especially against a team like Entity. You know, making sure that they do not be one by one, get those straight frags right, and Marcel, you know, doing a lot of work towards a long, making sure that the retake gets delayed, and this is again going to get tied out now. The CDs don't have a lot of cash to work with from us, and an M4, and quite a few CZ75s to work with as well, and Sai is going to be on the off now. The CDs have to make this work, absolutely have to make this work. I'm not quite sure if the force buy is going to work out for them. If you were in their position, would you want to force buy, just going for a completely equal push it to overtime?
I don't know. Ooh, free kill getting taken down there. I would have thought they'd go for an eco, and just try and play it out for overtime. But this gamble, already losing a player, and bear in mind, even with this buy, it's not that great. Rane just at the edge of that crosshair, and he's not gonna get pushed up. That CZ can do damage. Sai is he gonna hit the shot? Flashbang's gonna be deep, and Sai somehow reacts right in time. And what a time for him to come alive. Falcon, in the meantime, finds a kill onto Spawn towards Connector, and things are falling apart. They came so very close, Mamba. So close. But just might not be enough here. Because, let's take a look at the cash, right, for VAC Banned. Yeah, I can see 3 players at $300. Sai's going to find Chris in the meantime. Jimmy's left alone. The 2 players in 0. They're going to get $1,900 the next round. Is that enough? But Marzel will fall. That's going to be the call for the immediate rotation to A. They're just going to get the bomb down. It's a 1v4. There's nothing much you can do. You can just try and save his guns. Entity don't need to go for the hunt. Their money's still not that great either. So they just got to stick around. And for VAC Banned, it's got to be gutting, right? Like, 4 players are going to have... 5 players, in fact, are going to have around $2,300. What do you do with that? 5-7, maybe a Deagle in armor, maybe some CZs. That's about it.
Yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking for VAC Banned being so close, and I think they would have had a better chance if they went in for an eco, but I think they wanted to buy around the M4s they had saved, but it doesn't really work out in the favor. $900 to work with is not going to be a lot of money, and Fox is going to be on the hunt. They do realize that the cash on the CD side is going to be broke, so it won't really make a huge difference, but again, you know, they're only going to get about $34 plus maybe the extra $800 if I have my math right. But Jimmy is going to find 2 more frags. He's holding this angles off. He has just made this entire area his fortress towards Monster. The last round of the second half. Can VAC Banned do this? They do not have a cash to work with, and $35 onto Marcel and Amaterasu.
This is what happened right there. The fact that he got those 4 kills, he had $0 to work with. So he got 4 kills. That's $300 per kill. That's $1,200 plus the loss bonus. That gave him exactly $3,100, which allowed him to drop another M4 over to his teammate. Just the basic math right there. If he hadn't got those 4 kills, they wouldn't have been able to have 2 M4s. There would have just been 1 M4. So That's the thing, right? This game is about economy. Now, if this second M4 comes in and helps them win the game, Entity only have themselves to blame. But we do have a technical issue. I think we're going to be having a restore of this round. There we go. So I think one of the players timed out, so we'll be continuing with the final round here, or potential final round of regulation. It can go to overtime. It could definitely go to overtime, or it could be Entity Gaming pulling off a very, very narrow victory. So free kill timing out. So we're just gonna have to wait for him to come back, and I don't think they want to play without him. He's been the rock of this team so far. Him and Spawn have been the rock of this team.
True that, and quite unfortunate that one of the players from VAC Banned had to time out at this point in time. It's the last round, one round to go, and I'm not quite sure. I'm getting a call. No mind. So yeah, one of the players timing out, and he's gonna come back again. So this is gonna be interesting to see how it actually works out. But in the meantime, Entity Gaming, I think they won't really be under a lot of pressure. They have been through these situations quite a few times. I'd say quite a few times is actually an understatement. So they have, you know, pretty much been conditioned to these circumstances. But finally the player connecting back, so it's not a bad thing. And running Kaka, I know, man. The reset is again going to be coming in. So the second info being dropped out, and as you mentioned, right? It's this game is about economy, and it's about the smaller things. I still remember this one round from the Columbus Major, where Colzera was on Cobblestone, found an op, and he absolutely destroyed the opposition and managed to win the map as well. And this is something that could happen over here as well. Those last frags, those 4 frags allowed him to get that M4, extra M4. And as you mentioned, if that M4 comes into picture, and if it goes huge, this could be really devastating for Entity Gaming.
It could indeed. The 2 M4s, 2 CZs, and bear in mind, Entity have struggled with their anti-ecos. They have lost at least a couple so far in this game. So they should be very, very wary indeed. It's quite nice to see that Sai actually stepped up on the T side, despite having a pretty horrendous CD side initially. So let's see what Entity do here. They have not that great a buy either. 2 AKs, a Galil, and the UMP, the AWP in the hands of Sai, of course. And he's going to be just peering down towards Monster, hoping that VAC Banned feel a little adventurous. VAC Banned, though, it's a little different this time around. They have 2 players put up towards B spawn, playing aggressively with that CZ free kill. You want to see this player here, right? He's been really hitting his shots with an M4 of his. He's going to be playing towards Toxic, and in the meantime, 3 players. It's going to be Chris playing its cheeky off angle. Now he's going to be falling back as he hasn't spotted anyone out. Jimmy. You know what? I'd like to see Jimmy pass that rifle over to someone else. I mean, nothing against the man, but right now I think, you know, Chris or Spawn would be feeling it better, and they've been kind of on fire this entire game, right? So would rather see them wielding it, but let's see what he does with it. He was pretty solid in that, saving the gun in the previous round. And Ronnie, you got it. You hate to see it. Okay.
Oh, all right. Well, Ronnie Kaka stepping up. He's gonna find the frag through the smoke, and Spawn wants to push in through the door. Is he gonna get caught off? He's gonna get hurt out though, and the information is gonna pass out as well. Hellranger is not gonna be watching his back. What is happening? Falcon has not heard him, or probably Falcon has timed out, and this is gonna be huge. But Spawn is going to get taken down. That was so unfortunate. Sai getting 2 frags right there. Crash is gonna be waiting out towards the B-bomb side alongside Jimmy. Is gonna transfer him down, and Hellranger is almost gonna get taken down. Jimmy is gonna be coming up. And look at the health on the Terry side. Getting the first one, can he get the second as well? Is gonna be going around the corner. Sai is gonna get taken down. What is happening? It is gonna be Falcon all alone in a 1v2. Can he pull this off? Is this going to work out in his favor? It has to absolutely make this work. He's still going to go around the corner. He's going to spot the CD. He's still defusing it. Can he find the frag one? He has a kid to work with. What is happening? VAC Banned push it to overtime. And this was such a brilliant round coming from VAC Banned. And not quite sure if Falcon timed out, or did he not hear the footstep, or was not paying attention to the radar. That I think that moment actually cost them a lot of attention going in. But Sai getting those 2 amazing frags, getting those 2 amazing openings, and overall a really good round coming from VAC Banned.
Jesus Christ. I'm a little flabbergasted at the moment. I don't know what happened. Like you mentioned, they were so very low, and it's just one of those things, right? And even the bomb plant, if it was at least planned from Monster, Falcon could have clutched it out, because the other player was looking towards short. Instead, the plan was right behind Pillar, and just so many things going wrong for Entity Gaming. You just hate to see it. But then again, VAC Banned, you gotta feel for them, right? You gotta feel a little happy for them. They fought so hard this entire game. It's a map that Entity are very, very feared on, and the fact that VAC Banned managed to take it so close, I guess deep down inside, all of us, apart from the Entity guys, I mean deep down inside, the rest of us all wanted to see overtime. So here we go. It is going to be a dual up setup again, but as I take As I say that, Spawn will fall to Hellranger. Chris is still alive, however, but the early first blood going the way of Entity.
That was so unfortunate for Entity Gaming, and VAC Banned have been playing their hearts out. But in the meantime, Hellranger is going to find the second opening. It is going to be Ronikaka is going to go down. Jimmy and Freakle, falling back, getting those 2 frags, and making sure that the player is on the server getting equalized. It's going to be Freakle, Jimmy, and Krish on the CD side, and Amaterasu, Mars, and then Sai on the Terry side. Now, this is going to be interesting, right? Because only a minute to work with on the clock. The amount of resources that both the teams have is pretty decent. They could go in for, I don't really say a set take. I wouldn't call it an execute, but just cancel out a few basic angles and just try and make your way towards a bomb side. And again, that cheeky angle from Krish, just wait. I think it's Freakle. Never mind. Freakle, just wait. Oh wait, oh, it's Jimmy. This is what happens when you cast intense games of Counter-Strike without having proper rest. But the caffeine in your body is going to kick in. Nonetheless, it is going to Krish on the rotation towards the B-bomb side. 30 seconds on the clock. Not quite sure what the Cherry side is trying to do, but they're going to swarm in towards the B-bomb. So the Molotov is going to go out as well towards shot. And Matarasu is going to push in. Is going to get taken down. Marzil is just going to be scoped in, trying to clear it out. Heaven, the smoke is going to be coming up as well, and he has to make this work. The bomb is going to get planted. Marzil is going to go down. Free kill with this timing perfectly on time. It is going to be Marzil who's going to get taken on the side. What a shot on the Jimmy. Gonna find the second one as well. It's gonna be scoped in, trying to find the second one. He's gonna spot this. He's gonna spot. Are they gonna line up? Oh my god, he's gonna miss the shot. He's gonna miss the follow up as well. Can he get the third one? He's gonna get taken out. Most likely. What is even happening? Sai is going to survive, and this was a circus.
Oh man, they almost lined up, right? They almost lined up. It was there, and if they had lined up, if Sai got that kill, that would have been insane. But instead, he misses the frag. And unfortunately, again, it looked like VAC Banned had that round. A second free kill got that frag, but Sai almost making a believer out of me. But unfortunately, it doesn't work out. VAC Banned will get the first round of overtime, 16-15. And bear in mind, this is the $10,000 rule set, right? So if you lose 2 rounds in a row, and especially it's rougher on the CD side, but even on the T side, if you don't get the bomb down and you're investing so much like the way they're investing at the moment, the final round, if you lose the second round, the final round is going to be very sparse when it comes to their economy, when it comes to the buy. It's going to be like UMPs, maybe a couple of Galils, maybe an AK. So Entity Gaming, rough days indeed, but credit where it's due. VAC Banned are doing a great job, especially holding on to this B bomb side. This B bomb side has been their bastion.
That's true, and that is absolutely true. But Krish, that was the last one was so intense. That was so intense. Had Sai connected that shot, that would have been one of the best plays. I won't say one of the best plays, one of the best moments of the tournament so far. Because all the little things, right? And that, I don't even know how that happens, but pretty unfortunate for the Cherry side and VAC Banned in the first round of the first overtime. Scoreline being 16-15 in the favor. The Terrace side, they do have an op to work with. On the CD side, we have Krish with the op. So, taking things slowly, they are going to methodically try and break into the A-bomb side. They have control of mid, they have control of party. A-long is being taken care of so that the push doesn't come in. And the CT is playing it pretty passively and a lot of information to work with towards B-bomb side. So, I like this. I like the setup from the CDs. Not overcommitting. They have the information. They have all the information in the world they need to work with, and the CT is just playing it pretty passive towards a bomb set. Even though I think it's Ranikaka, if you could have the camera onto him, is playing again. He's playing the same angle on the truck, and this is gonna be a little too harsh for him because he doesn't. You don't want to get taken on at that angle, right? You have to play passive when you have so much information to work with. But Krish, just waiting it out. And Amaterasu is going to be waiting. It's going to be coming in. It's going to be Falcon who's going to be coming up as well. And Ronikaka, he's going to manage to find the first one, maybe not. Falcon and Mars opening things up for the Cherry side. And Spawn with the M4 is going to be coming in. And Falcon is going to be surviving, barely surviving though on 12 points of health. The flashbang being primed up but not being thrown out. And the C4 has been thrown, has been planted. And the CD have decided to fall back and save it up. So a pretty good call coming in from VAC Banned.
Yeah, because the previous round, if you remember, it came down to a 1v1, right? So they had to rebuy into this round. If they lost this round, the money would have been looking very, very abysmal indeed. It would have been about like $3,400-$3,500. So it's a very smart call coming from VAC Banned to just hold on to these guns. And for Entity Gaming, they are feeling a little adventurous, and it's fair enough. Like 3 players and $2,500, they can actually go for the hunt here. And Amaterasu finds one. He spotted Jimmy as well, not able to get the kill, but he does convey the information to his teammates that they have found a frag. And now Jimmy and Spawn, they just need to just turtle in and stay alive, which they will do. So they at least save the 2 rifles. but it is going to be a very tight fight indeed. 3 M4s, 4 M4s coming out. That means the utility will be very sparse. Free kill with 0 utility. Chris has to decide what to go with it. I do believe he's going to be going with the UMP here, or yeah, for mouse buy. So all right, the 3 players with good summer utility. A couple of them little sparse, but all things considered, a pretty solid buy, because it did look a little rough there, a little rough for a moment there, considering the loss to the 3rd player. But for Entity Gaming, this is a good opportunity here to get the lead in the first half of overtime number 1.
And well, it's gonna be Marzel towards Fountains, just waiting it out. Jimmy behind the smoke. The Molotov, I mean, I don't see the point for the Molotov, because he still has the smoke to cross out to party if he wants to. So sometimes it's just a waste. And the flashbang again towards mid. I don't see the point unless you're peeking out, right? It's just a waste of a flashbang. But in the meantime, Krish, this shoulder peeking towards A long. It isn't even a shoulder peek at this point, but the C4 is going to be making its way towards A bomb. So while we have Hellranger being taken out, 12 points of health towards B bomb side, and the Molotov is going to get thrown out as well. Freaker is waiting it out and spawn towards the pillar. Now this guy has made the B bomb side his fortress. He has been playing his heart out. He has been hitting some crazy shots with the AWP as well. So overall, a really good B anchor spawn. He has been in this matchup, but 48 seconds, 45 seconds on the clock to work with, and the tier side hasn't made a sound towards A bomb side. So I think the CTs would probably be expecting this, but in the meantime, it's gonna be an A execute coming. Jimmy is pretty aggressive. If he hears those smokes coming up, I think he could probably ask for a flashbang towards toilets, and that might just happen. But we have the rotation coming. We have an early rotation coming in, because it's only 25 seconds on the clock, and this could be huge. Jimmy is going to find the first one, get the second as well. He's going to get traded out really quickly. Amaterasu to find the headshot onto him. Ronnie Kaka playing that one-way angle. He's going to find the frag on the side. Maybe not Sai. He's barely going to survive on 17 points of health, and this is huge. Free kill again. Watching the crossfire, watching the cross, and he's going to get taken down by Falcon. It is going to be in a 1v3 situation. It is going to be Krish, and he is going to peek out. He's going to find the first one, get the second as well. He has not been spotted, and he's going to get taken down. Finally, Hellranger coming in
close
from behind. That was a really close round coming in from both teams.
Yeah, Chris, if he had stayed alive for 2 more seconds, they would have won the round for his team, because they would have had no money. But Hellranger to the rescue. 12 HP, I think, is all he had in the end there, and somehow. Yeah, he wasn't 12 HP, he's on 17. A very messy battle over the A bomb side. But in the end, Entity will somehow come through with a 1-round lead. We'll start on the CD side here. The more favorite side, at least, on this map. For VAC Banned, those of you who don't know how overtime works, the first team to win 3 rounds in overtime will be the winner. So for Entity, they need to win 2 to guarantee themselves the victory. And for VAC Banned, they need to win 3 rounds. They need to win all the 3 rounds in this half in order to win this matchup. So the odds are slightly stacked against them, but they have proven me wrong time and time again, at least in the past 1 hour or so. So do you believe, Mamba? Do you believe in these upsets, in these underdog stories?
Well, I always like to believe, because they've already pushed it to overtime. And I'm fairly certain that they could pull this off, because they do have skill. It's just the amount of experience that these guys have is not enough against a team like Entity, because individually these players can step up if they need to, and we've seen some really good examples from Freakle and Spawn. So I do believe that VAC Banned is capable of pulling this upset off. But I think even though if they end up losing this round, the matchup, I think they should probably be patting their backs, not a lot, and probably just go back to the drawing board and figure out where were those mistakes made which costed them the match. And Entity Gaming is going to be really upset the way this entire match has been played out, because they were the favorites to win this one. But
yep.
I will just sorry to cut you off right there. But Ronnie Kaka is going to find the headshot onto Morris. He's going to find the opening, and Hellranger is waiting out towards the A-bomb site.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Mamba, that no matter what happens, with the final outcome of this game, because right now it's still kind of balanced on a razor's edge. I think we know the clear winners and losers of this game. The winner being VB, the VAC Banned. They've pushed Entity to the limit over here, taking it to overtime, especially in a map that Entity are very confident and comfortable on, where they have so many set executes, have so many setups and reads and whatnot. And the losers are obviously Entity. Nothing against VAC Banned, but Entity should be winning this much more comfortably. Hellranger, in the meantime, getting pressurized. Arane doing his best to just trail up, but Hellranger, great snapshot into free kill. That's a bomb dropped. And now Amaterasu trying to delay them for as long as possible. And he does great work, finds 2, and now it's all on Jimmy. 1v2, he can pull this one off because Sai is internally bleeding, but there's no time remaining. There is no time remaining. They've run out of time. And Entity Gaming are on map and match point. They have 2 map points to work with, and VAC Banned, that is gutting, right? That is so gutting. It was a 1v2, and if he got that kill on his side, and he had like a couple more extra seconds, you know, to work with, he could have probably played the 1v1, and he had health advantage as well. So Entity Gaming now on the verge of closing this one out. But VAC Banned, they need to win all the remaining 2 rounds to take it to overtime number 2.
And again, that's going to be a lot of pressure for VAC Banned to handle. But one thing I'm really happy about for VAC Banned is the fact that they found themselves in this situation early on in this tournament. And it's actually good for them because, you know, they still have quite a few matches to play, even though it's not a lot. But it's a pretty long year, right? It's only the summer season. They still have the fall season and the winter season to play out. And VAC Banned have been playing the hearts out. So I'm really happy the way they have found themselves in this situation in overtime. And that's going to teach them a lot of things. And Krish, what a shot on the side. But Falcon not being able to get that trade flag because, well, Spawn was just a little too cheeky to be traded, and that's what I liked about that shot. But in the meantime, Spawn has creeped up towards A-bombs, and no one really is going to be behind him, so no trade potential. It's going to be B hit coming in. Marzel, I think he does sense this, and Spawn gets the opening back towards A-bombs, and this could be huge. Oh, look at that. Marzel going in for a spray down. Is going to get taken down by free kill, and it's going to be on to Falcon all alone in a 1v4. And the same question. Do you believe in the second overtime?
I'm starting to believe right now. I definitely am, because here's the thing. Entity had just 2 players survive the previous round, correct? That means they had to buy back into this round. Now, if Falcon stays alive, it's still not enough, because look at the cash. Falcon, if he survives, he's going to drop a gun for his teammate. Sai can buy for himself. But other 3 players, yes, they can buy rifles and armor, but utility will be sparse, so they will have to go for aggro plays. And right now, VAC Banned are taking it slow, and their holds have been... And Falcon, fast scope, will not work out. Krish will duck underneath the bullet, and you look at the cash, right? So you see Sai's got money, Falcon's got money, the rest of them 4,000, 3,900 and 3,600 for Amaterasu, Marzel and Hellrange respectively. That's enough to buy yourself a rifle and some Kevlar and maybe a couple of flashbangs and whatnot, but it's not that great. But this is a very big decision. Falcon bought the op and dropped it to Marzel. So the dual op setup, the dual die buy coming out from Hellranger and his merry men. What can it do is a question here.
Well, it's going to be a tough ask, and we do have a double op setup to come with, to work with, and yeah, Jimmy is going to be waiting on Mars, having an op as well. So this is going to be interesting. Vehicle just waiting on for Mars as well on the CD side to work with. Not a lot of resources, so to speak. The Cherry side having quite a few flashes and a few Molotovs. So this could potentially be the second overtime coming in Mars. It's going to find the first flag on a spawn, and that is going to be heartbreaking for the Cherry side because, again, a lot of pressure, do or die situation right here, and they have to make this work. And it's going to crash, it's going to get spotted. Hellranger falling back, the smoke is going to be coming in. That is going to take 14 seconds off the clock for Terry side without any sort of map control towards toilets, and he's going to fall back. He's again holding a pretty cheeky angle with a gun, and this I think is a little too ambitious to hold with the FAMAS because, you know, it's again, it's a decent gun. First shot accuracy isn't that great, and you just probably won't get that kill holding that angle off. But nonetheless, Hellranger is going to creep up, and Ranekaka might just get caught off guard if he tries to come in. But I think he has heard him fall back, and the C4 is going to make his way towards the B-bomb. So Hellranger is going to be on the backstab though, and they have that early information. Again, these angles, right? They are such aggressive angles that you have to win those deals. And Jimmy's going to get taken down to 2 points of health, but Trish making sure that his teammate doesn't go down. And smoke is going to be coming up as well. So Falcon just pushing in. Actually, he's going to fall back through the smoke. And he's going to get taken out. Free kill is not going to be able to plant the bomb down. And look at that! Such a huge play coming from Falcon. And it is going to be on to Ranika. 17 seconds on the clock to work in a 1v3 situation, trying to find the frags. 14 bullets to work with. It's going to get taken down, and that is going to be a little too upsetting for VAC Banned. 19 to 17 the scoreline. Entity Gaming is going to pull this matchup, and VAC Banned, I think they should be really happy the way this turned out, right, Blair?
Yeah, they even though they lost, I think they should just hold their heads up high and say, hey, we showed a lot of spirit, a lot of grit to shut things down. They can easily go back to this demo, to this VOD if they want to. I mean, rather than go back to the demo and just try and figure out what went wrong. They did a lot of things right, but overall, I think even though they're the winners of this game, I think the losers are Entity. They should have won this in a much more convincing fashion. I didn't expect to see this going to overtime. Once again, I'm just going to reiterate that I'm not dissing on VAC Banned. They played really well, especially free kill and spawn. Huge shutdowns from them on the CD side. But Entity Gaming losing so many anti-eco, so many questionable decisions coming out from them, and even some of the setups, the angles they were holding towards the B bomb side, like is out in the open, but not much time remaining. Some weird individual decisions coming out from them. So a lot of homework to be done. Bear in mind that they are back to boot camping today, I do believe. So it's the first match as a team after quite a while, you know, since they haven't boot camped, because we've been seeing Sai streaming, Marzel, you know, just playing pugs and whatnot. So hopefully, you know, and that's the thing, they have a lot of material, a lot of things on the table to work on. So overall, you know, valiant effort from VB. I want to give them a lot of credit for this, but Entity Gaming, they do manage to somehow clinch this game.
Yeah, pretty good. And nonetheless, we are going to throw it back to the studio where Adi and Angela are going to break it down for us. Take it away, boys.
And thank you, Mama and Sudheen, for that amazing, amazing cast for us. Welcome back to the studio segment of the ESL India Premiership Summer Season Master League. I'm your host, Angela, and with me is Adi. That was one nail-biting performance coming in there from VAC Banned. I mean, we were talking about a miracle right before this game started. I really want to hear your thoughts about this.
Yeah, I mean, they almost got their miracle, right, VAC Banned? And this was not a game that I expected at all. Like, I really expected it to be a one-sided game, because Blair said it as well. Entity is really comfortable on Overpass. What I was not aware of was that how comfortable VAC Banned is on Overpass, because they had some insane plays coming out. And yeah, a lot of times they were saved by the individual brilliance of like maybe Free Kill and Spawn, especially towards the tail end of that game. Spawn with that op, oh my god, he shut down Entity so many times, and it was just a joy to watch such a close game, right? And I was genuinely worried for Entity right there at you know, towards the end, because I thought, okay, now it's becoming business as usual towards the end. Once it was 13-12 and they were down, they went back to their set executes and they started executing. They won 2 rounds on the trot, then they lose one as well, but then again they still start winning, and then somehow they managed to throw the last round of the game, like last round of regulation time, against what is a force buy basically. It was 2 M4s and 1 from us and just 2 pistols, right? And they threw that, and I was like, oh my god, it's all crumbling. And honestly, there was one round where Amaterasu bought up as well, like pistol armor and all the grenades, and the rest of his teammates were eco. I think it was somewhere around round number 20. So I was actually thinking to myself, tilt, like tilt has been executed, but apparently not. Like maybe that was just miscommunication at the time, but it was great to see Entity's mental fortitude to come back after what I think actually for most parts of the game, they were down, because we expect Entity to win. We didn't expect VAC Banned to win, right? That's the main thing. It's not, if this was a massive victory for VAC Banned in itself, I know not really, because they had to win the game and they really needed to start it today, but they've shown us that they can really play with the big boys, right? I was building up Entity as the best team in the Masters League right now.
I mean, you had even spoken about them being 16-5 in this game. And,
and how
it was
so
wrong
surprising
for me. It was so surprising for me.
So, and that's a great, like taking down and almost taking down a team like Entity, like, and taking them right to the wire and making Entity pull out all the stops, you know, everything, use all their 4 timeouts and have their coach talk to them and tell him that, you know, tell them that what you're doing wrong, and, you know, just keep adjusting on the fly. And they literally had to go deep into their strat book to eventually win this game, and it was just a pleasure to watch that game. And I'm a little jealous that Mamba and Blair got to cast that game, because I would have loved to cast that game.
I think this is the first time that I have actually not wanted Dora to start on time. But as you mentioned that, we have our MVP ready, so let's have a look who's taken the MVP for this amazing, amazing game.
This was a marathon, right? Not a sprint, and everyone is up there on the scoreboard, by the way. And Marzel is the MVP with an impact rating of just 1.2, and he had 26 frags towards the end of it. I think some of those stats are wrong, so don't mind that. He had 26 frags towards the end of it, and honestly, like, his ADR was so far down, 64, and still he's the MVP just because of the sheer amount of impact, right? There were a lot of players actually, especially Free Kill had a higher impact rating than Marzel, but he cannot be the MVP because he didn't win the game, right?
How sad
You're
is
not
that?
that valuable if you didn't win the game.
But he would be the MVP for you, I think, in this game.
No, it would still be Marzel, because towards the end, again, Marzel did save them a little bit. He had a few flare rounds where he did pick up the slack. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. I just feel really bad for VAC Banned, because it seemed like everything, like it seemed like the stars aligned, but at the end, Entity was just enough, like just had enough in their tank to beat down VAC Banned's, you know, push.
Alright, so with this we come to an end to Counter-Strike Global Offensive. We'd like to thank our esteemed sponsors owned by HP, Intel, HyperX, and this whole event is brought to you by